In this video, we'll see firstly how government and media propaganda have brainwashed people into thinking that an EV would be a like-for-like replacement for their regular car, and then how that comes crashing down when the weather turns bad. Thanks to those of you who sent links to these stories coming out of both the US and Canada, which are experiencing extreme cold at the moment. Everyone should know that the performance of lithium-ion batteries degrades considerably in extreme cold. Not only do they not hold as much energy, but they take longer to accept that energy by charging. This is the reality of a chemical reaction. It slows down when it gets cold. But this has come as a shock for many EV owners, it seems. You almost have to feel sorry for these poor miserable sods who are gullible enough to buy one without understanding the reality of EV ownership. But it's not entirely their fault. The media and governments have openly misled people about the capabilities of EVs, and we'll see a shocking example of that very shortly. If you're after EV and net zero sanity, you've come to the right place. Welcome to MGuy, British engineer and lawyer, now Sydney YouTuber. If you like my videos and content, please be sure to like, share and subscribe, hit the notification bell and drop a comment down below. This astonishing article was sent to me barely a couple of days ago and is typical of the mainstream media greenwashing and spin when it comes to the practicality of EVs. And try not to laugh when you hear this. Electric cars the best vehicle in frigid temperatures, Sask advocates say. Sask may be in a deep freeze, but EV drivers say they stay toasty warm. With the federal government planning to phase out sales of new gas-powered vehicles during the next decade, many drivers question how they will fare on cold prairie days like this week's. But two electric car enthusiasts who chatted with host Leisha Grabinski on CBC's Blue Sky this week say they love driving their vehicles in the winter. It heats up faster than any gas car I've ever had. It's more reliable, said Tyler Kraus, who sits on the board of the Saskatchewan Electric Vehicle Association. Okay, that makes sense. And founded the Tesla Owners Club of Saskatchewan. Okay, that makes sense also. You know, there's no starting of the car. It's always just kind of on, right? It's like a phone basically, or a computer on wheels. Do they realise that heating up their car uses up range? In a gas car, heat is a waste product of the combustion process, which can easily be directed into the cabin. But in an EV, you have to actually use energy from the battery to heat up the car. And heating is a very energy-intensive process. The major downside in winter is the loss of driving range in really frigid temperatures, Kraus said. His Tesla Model 3 can generally travel 500 kilometers in a single charge in the summer, but on cold winter days that decreases to around 300 kilometers, he said. With the charging infrastructure that has come online in the last few years in the province, that's still enough to feel confident leaving town, he said. Well, at least they admit that cold has an effect on range, but then the hype and spin really goes off the scale. Matthew Pointer, who also drives a Tesla Model 3, said he finds his electric vehicle to be a much better driving experience in the winter than a gas car. I believe that an electric is the best vehicle in these temperatures, just because it's a simpler car. It's taking care of itself even if I'm not thinking about it, he said. I can leave my vehicle unplugged overnight to -40, fire up the app on my phone, preheat the car, heated steering wheels, heated seats. Basically, I hop in the car, everything is defrosted, toasty warm, and away I go. And your range is down to 50%. I mean, this is pathological levels of delusion on show right here, as will be seen from the following video clips, which demonstrate the brutal reality of EV ownership in freezing temperatures. Firstly, from Edmonton, where there's bad news for EV drivers in Alberta.
Linda Ward is tracking this story for us, and she joins us now. So, Linda, tell us about this alert that was sent out to Albertans.
Yeah, this alert is really the latest in a series of effects that this cold snap has had on essential services that people rely on across the West Coast. But we'll tell you about this that went out to the phones across the province. This warning of high-risk rotating power outages, asking Albertans to limit their power use to only essential needs during the peak hours of 4 and 7 p.m. Alberta's electric systems operator issuing a similar grid alert on Friday, saying cold temperatures are putting too much stress on the grid. It's causing higher usage, but also lower imports because Alberta gets some of its power from neighboring provinces. But BC and Saskatchewan also gripped by this cold snap. They're seeing increased demand.
Just in case you didn't read it, the alert asked people to, quote, delay charging of electric vehicles, unquote. Oh good, well, hope you didn't need to go anywhere in a hurry then. But hang on, I thought our grids were all perfectly capable of dealing with a mass EV fleet without any problems, or so we're told, right? Well, clearly not. And then take a look at this clip from Chicago, where there are literally lines of dead Teslas unable to charge due to the cold weather.
Electric cars may be the way of the future, but it's clear there are some problems when it comes to charging them in Chicago's deep freeze. Dead Teslas packed the parking lot at this Tesla supercharging station in Oak Brook, a scene mirrored at other supercharging stations around the Chicago area.
Man, this is crazy. It's a disaster, seriously.
With temperatures falling into the negative double digits, these charging ports have stopped charging, leaving many Tesla owners stranded here in long lines since Sunday.
Nothing, no juice, it's still on 0%. And this is like 3 hours this morning being out here, after being out here 8 hours yesterday.
Has it been charging?
No, not at all.
It just isn't working.
At all. It's just frozen, and so I'm getting it towed to the Tesla service center because that's my only option at this point.
Adding to their frustration, they say, is that they're getting no help when they call Tesla for assistance.
No response from Tesla. We have been suffering since yesterday afternoon.
Tesla has not responded to our emails for comment, but an automobile expert we talked to said that the owners of all EVs should hit the battery precondition button on their car before attempting to charge it in extremely cold weather.
Yeah, well, that'll cut your range by another 50% probably.
There are 20 superchargers at this station off Toohey and Skokie, and they have all been full all day long with people waiting in line to charge up. In this brutal cold, batteries are taking much longer to do that, and they are draining much faster. At the Tesla supercharging station in Skokie, one driver grateful to finally be here.
I saw that my battery's getting low. It was about 25%. I went out to the gas station that was there. I saw that there was a long line.
Wes France then drove to the fashion outlet station in Rosemont, but it wasn't in service.
And by that time, my battery drained down to 5%, which is faster than normal. Long story short, here I am. We had to tow it out this way.
The sub-zero temperatures taking a toll on the electric batteries. This Uber driver frustrated.
It's horrible. It takes 2 hours. The wait, you might wait an hour. It takes 2 hours to charge. Then the charge leaves really quickly. So now you're back at the charger twice a day. So it's actually horrible.
I'd read about it. I didn't realize the logistics of it and how hard it was. I figured, okay, I'd get the charger in at home and it would be fine, but it's becoming a little more difficult than what I expected.
Let's just hear that last sentence again. It's becoming a little more difficult than what I expected. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. If you'd been reading all the BS articles from the mainstream media, then it's no wonder it's all coming as a bit of a shock. And then to cap it all, you have to deal with all the ridiculous extra nonsense you have to do to even get these wretched things to work at all.
If you can park in a garage, clearly it's better to keep the car warm. It makes a huge difference. And then when you're going and you're going to go charge, you should let the navigation go in the navigation and say that you're going to a charger so the car can precondition the battery. It'll accept a charge a lot faster that way.
He also suggests charging up before your battery gets below 30%. Drivers dealing with the headache, hoping the company can do something to improve battery life in brutally cold weather.
So let's get this straight. Plan your journeys around the chargers. Tell the car you're charging so it can waste more range by warming the battery itself so it charges better. Park in a garage. Tough luck if you don't have one. Don't let the battery discharge below 30% so you've only got 70% of a battery at the best of times. Geez, this is just ridiculous. And one final clip just to make the point even clearer, if you haven't got it already.
Some Tesla drivers learned the hard way about how cold weather impacts their battery life. This was the scene this morning at a charging station near 95th and Western in Evergreen Park. Drivers say some of the stations weren't working, and those that were taking a lot longer to charge.
I've been here for over 5 hours at this point, and I'm still have not got to charge my car. Charge it should take 45 minutes. It's taken 2 hours.
That driver says he saw at least 10 cars towed. Tesla advises owners to keep the charge level above 20% during bitter cold weather.
These awful EVs are simply unfit for purpose. They cannot be used in the cold without a range of completely impractical precautions, most of which don't work anyway. And in fact, they can be downright dangerous. Can you imagine the battery running out when you're stuck in a snowdrift waiting for the emergency services? Your regular ICE car will just idle away, keeping you warm and safe for hours if necessary on a few drops of fuel. But your hopeless EV will turn into a freezing brick with possible life-threatening consequences. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Drop a comment down below and let me know what you think. If you have any tips or stories, you can hit me up on Instagram or by email, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye for now.